Shalom, Yasharala. This is your brother Dawada from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHIM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHIM, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great MILLSTONE that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for Yakim pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump to this quick little lesson, predominantly aimed at the Northern Kingdom, all right? You so-called Latinos and Native Americans, all right? Because, it's quite obvious that, people, when they see us in our movements and they don't really know what's going on with us, they call us Black Hebrew Israelites, So the so-called black part is so-called implied, But, that's, first of all, we're not Black Hebrew Israelites. This isn't based off of skin color or anything like that, because shit, you got a whole continent of people that look like us in Africa, and we don't claim none of them. Those are our enemies. Those are Hamites. So it's not about skin color. All right. But nevertheless, you have and it kind of do go into skin color, because for this lesson, I'm getting into these so-called Native Americans and so-called Latino tribes. All right. They like to think because, in their minds, they don't look like us. All right. That the fact that and they don't act like, they think that they don't look like us, or they think that they don't act like us. They think that they're more like the so-called white man. Not harping on them too much. You got our same people that do the same thing. You see our women with the blonde hair, our women and our men with blonde hair. All right. And things like that, but nevertheless, going into this here lesson, you have a lot of these so-called Mexicans and really just the northern tribes, they still have this hatred towards their own brother, oh, y'all niggers and this and that. I'm like, yo, what's crazy as hell to me to hear Mexicans right now, for, the minute of the Lord that's in his truth, we go hard for all the tribes, we don't sit here and sugarcoat just because y'all will call me a so-called black man. I'm not going to sit here and go hard for the so-called Latino or the Native American tribes. No, it's not like that. We all one house now. All right. But, our people that's in their follow, they still don't understand this. All right. So you got some Mexicans and stuff like that, or some of these other tribes that's looking at us like, damn, why the like in that news clip, the so-called Native American man over here trying to, diffuse the problem between the Israelites. All right. And the so-called white man. I'm like, wait a minute. Don't you realize that we was brethren when we first came over here? Don't you realize you was on this land unmolested till the so-called white man came over here and took this shit? Don't you realize you speaking his language and you don't remember your language because of what the so-called white man did to you? Don't you realize that the majority of your people is all drunks, alcoholics, and dying of suicide because of the so-called white man? You don't realize that, they gave y'all so-called reservations, or put y'all on reservations, gave y'all so-called casinos, but yet they the ones getting all the benefits off the casinos. You don't see the same things happening to you that is happening to us, but yet you have these people, oh, you stupid niggers, what are you niggers doing? And it's crazy to me how, our brothers in our other tribes look down on us as if they so-called a white man, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's oblivious to me. Like, you don't have, there is racism here in America against the so-called black man. Yes, there is. You really have way more so-called Edomites screaming and protesting, and hell, the whole fucking government is shut down right now, basically on the preface of so-called Mexicans right now. When was the last time the government was shut down because of so-called black people? You see what I'm saying? Now, not to try to put strife between the tribes or anything like that. I'm just saying this to bring awareness to you people of our tribes, you 2/3 basically, or the people of our tribes that's sitting here looking as if we the enemy. Like, nah, bro, we not the enemy. The so-called white man is the enemy. I don't understand why you don't see that. He the one gang banging on you, but you the one got the Stockholm syndrome. You still think that y'all cool. Yeah, we building a wall and deporting all these illegal Mexicans, knowing good and damn well your mom and daddy ain't got no papers. You probably ain't got no damn papers. You fuck them. Fuck you niggers. You niggers shouldn't be doing this and that. This and that. Well, and trying to assimilate, hey man, to you so-called Mexicans, I see it a lot because I live around a whole bunch of Mexicans, but wearing your little camouflage, little hunting outfits and listening to country music and wearing your little cowboy boots don't make you a so-called white man. You know what I'm saying? Because down where I live at, like I said, there's a lot of Mexicans, so-called Mexicans where I live at, and you see them driving these, what we call redneck trucks, these big lifted ass pickup trucks where they go swamping and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You see these so-called Mexicans, they be driving around in those things, wearing the little Wrangler jeans, the little tight jeans, wear the cowboy boots, listening to country music, got their camouflage jacket on and a little rebel flag. They think they the so-called white man, Oh, you stupid niggers and this and that. I'm like, wait a minute. More and more in the public, the so-called white man is gangbanging on y'all more than us. They the ones in the news publicly saying y'all need to go back to y'all countries. Y'all a bunch of rapists and this and that. Y'all taking all of their jobs and they need to build a wall to keep you Mexicans out. That's what's in the news right now. That's why everybody right now is kind of fucked up one way or another with this government shutdown because the premise is based off of so-called Mexicans. But yet our own brethren, all right, I'm not just trying to pick on Mexicans. This is going on throughout all the tribes, even of the so-called black tribes. They do the same thing too, all right, with they weaves and things like this and that. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying, to the other tribes, I'm putting this out to the other tribes. You know, when y'all see us and y'all, oh, y'all are some black Hebrew Israelites. No, motherfucker, we talking about y'all too. The so-called Latinos and the Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? And I like to try to push that as much as possible because, you know, if you see me, it's clear and obvious that I'm a so-called, like you would call me a so-called black man. My message is not just for the so-called black man. It's also for the Latino and the Native American, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans. Those are our brothers too. All right. The so-called white man wound up doing a number on our people. This is why we look a little different, but we all the same people. We all got the same damn customs and do the same damn shit anyway. All right. But nevertheless, you know, you have our brethren and things like that that look at us like we're a little different. Hey, man, but like the scripture say, though, hand joined in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. You can keep ostracizing yourself when things like that go pop off. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you something I heard carnally, you know, no matter what is really being said, because really it's more or less that the so-called Hispanics hate the so-called Negroes, not the other way around. It's not that the Negroes hate the so-called Hispanics, but, and these are all curses, which we're going to get into. But nevertheless, you know, this is something that I've heard said many a times, you know. But, you know, and this is always being directed to the so-called Hispanics. You know, y'all need to remember this shit. If shit ever pop off, the so-called black man would never let the so-called white man come down on the so-called Mexicans. All right. Even in our folly, like the 2/3 of us, the gangbangers and shit, they wouldn't let that shit happen. Why? Because we know if that shit happened, we the next on the target. We already know what the fuck happened to us. All right. We know that if anybody here should have our back, it should be y'all, because y'all went through the same shit that we went through. All right. And we got the same damn enemy. All right. But as long as the Northern Kingdom want to be on Esau's titty thinking he different, this is, you know, divide and conquer. You know, a house divided upon itself is going to fall. You know what I'm saying? And so as long as, you know, the northern tribes, this is what, you know, a lot of things is prolonging us. You know, Jake know, you know, well, the Southern Kingdom really know was hitting them. A lot of them know was really hitting them and stuff like that. We're not really trying to assimilate to the so-called white man. You have plenty of the so-called Southern Kingdom Israelites, you know, the so-called black races, right, of the tribes. You have a lot of those people that's not in the truth, that may not know or accept that they Israelites. They be screaming, man, fuck the white man. We ain't with fuck the white man this, the white man that. They smart about who the fuck their enemy is, you know? But then again, you have a lot of the so-called northern tribes and the Native American tribes that don't realize who the fuck is deporting them. You see what I'm saying? Who the one is making up all these laws? Who the one is slandering their name mainly on the television? You know what I'm saying? They the ones put y'all up under the bus. Y'all got a bad rep because of, you know, y'all like the hardest working people here. Keep prices low on certain things because they underpay you, which keeps the prices low. You take all the jobs nobody else want. You backbone of this here society. All right. You do all the hard labor jobs, but yet and still, you know what I'm saying? Hey, people, they paint you in a picture as if you ain't shit. You need to go back to your country, which this is your country. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, going back into this here hatred, man, y'all got to stop with all that. You know what I'm saying? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we all brothers, all right? And we need to, the time is now for us to come back together, all right? We got one common enemy. It's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, all right? So we're going to jump into these scriptures, starting in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 53. All right, these are the curses that will befall Israel, all right, for not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, verse 54, Deuteronomy 28 and 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. All right. And, you know, these curses go in a lot more in detail, but one of the things I wanted to pull out in verse 54 was that the tender man among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. All right. So there was going to be infighting inside the tribes. All right. He was going to have, you know, the so-called black man fighting against the so-called black man. That's why they call it black on black crime. All right. But then you also have, how do I say, fights and things like that between the different tribes. All right. This is why you have hatred between, like, let's say the so-called black man and the so-called Haitians. All right. Judah and Levi. All right. Or the so-called hatred between so-called Mexicans and so-called Puerto Ricans. Ephraim and Issachar. You know, and you ask them, well, why do y'all hate each other so bad? Why do Puerto Ricans, you know, like around here, you mistaken, you call a Puerto Rican a Mexican or a Mexican a Puerto Rican. They be like, I ain't no fucking Mexican. I ain't no fucking Puerto Rican. Like, my bad, damn, chill. You know, same with calling a so-called black person a Haitian. They might flip the fuck out on you, you know, not knowing that we all brethren and things like that. But hey, these are the curses that will befall us, that there was going to be hatred amongst the brethren. There was going to be a division. All right. And so this is where it all starts from. You know, there was a division between the tribes based off of the curses that was going to befall us. All right. This is Zechariah 11:7. It says, I will feed the flock of the slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. And I took unto me 2 staffs, and the one I called Beauty, and the other one I called Bands, and I fed the flock. Man, I love that, Beauty and the Bands, because, hey, man, the Most High finna unleash Beauty and Bands on these Edomites, all right? But nevertheless, it says, all right, let me go back. It says, and I took unto me 2 staffs, and the one I called Beauty, and the other one I called Bands, and I fed the flock. It says, 3 shepherds also I cut off in 1 month, and my soul loathed them, and their souls also abhorred me. Then said I will not feed you. That dieth, let it die, and that is to be cut off, let it be cut off, and let the rest eat every one of the flesh of another. And I took my staff, even Beauty, and cut it asunder, that I might break my covenant which I made with all the people. And it was broken in that day. And so the poor of the flock that waited upon me knew that it was the word of Yahweh. And I said unto them, if you think good, give me my price. If not, forbear. So they weighed my price 30 pieces of silver. And Yahweh said unto me, cast it unto the potter, and a goodly price. And I took Salak, a goodly price that I was prized at them, and I took 30 pieces of silver, and I cast them in the potter's house of Yahweh, and I cut asunder mine and the other. Then I cut asunder my other staff, even Bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. All right. And that's all I wanted to get into that, you know, which is basically giving an analogy, Beauty and Bands. All right. Which is representation of, well, let me see, because I'm going to further break it down here. This is northern and southern kingdom. All right. The 2 different kingdoms, Beauty and Bands. All right. This is Ezekiel 37. And well, I started verse 16, 37 and 16, Ezekiel 37, 16. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee 1 stick and write upon it for Judah and the children of Israel, his companions, and take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel and his companions. All right. So, basically it's these 2 different sticks. You got Judah. Well, you have 1 stick, which is the southern kingdom, the kingdom of Judah, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And then you have the other stick, which is the kingdom of Israel, also known as the northern kingdom, which is Ephraim all the way down into Issachar. All right. The so-called Latinos and Native American tribes. All right. So you have these 2 different sticks. All right. Which we just read, they was broken asunder, you know, Beauty and Bands. All right. Verse 17, and join them one to another into 1 stick, and they shall become one in thy hand. All right. So that's the commandment to go forth, that these sticks was going to be put back together. All right. Just like we just read, they was together, but then they was broken in peace. All right. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, will thou not show us what thou meanest by these? And, you know, this is going into the highways and byways. When we're in the highways and byways, you know, predominantly every camp have that sign, have at least that 1 sign with all the tribes on there. All right. And that's basically, you know, one of those things that we use as bait to catch people in, you know, you have like, because hey, the Most High know the spirit of his people. He the ones created them, you know, just to role play a little bit, you know, we're in the highways and the byways preaching. Let's say we're preaching about thermonuclear missiles. Right. And, you know, we're talking about or so-called UFOs, the chariots of the Lord. You know, that's our topic. You know, we're talking about this and that. And you got a bunch of, let's say, so-called black men walking down the street, or a bunch of so-called Puerto Ricans walking down the street, or a bunch of so-called Mexicans walking down the street, right? They'll walk by and see the sign, not knowing what the hell we doing or what's going on. They see some guys in some garments. They might think that we Arabs or Muslims. And then, you know what I'm saying, they see some weird shit going on. But what the hell is this going on? They talking about UFOs? Wait a minute, bro. What did this sign say? Puerto Ricans? What about Puerto Ricans, bro? What about the so-called Negroes? What you mean by Negroes? What you mean about Mexicans? What you mean by this? What you mean about so-called Haitians? You know what I'm saying? Or they just walk by and happen to see they name on that sign. They're like, hey, what's this all about? You know? So that's one of our bait things. They see their name on there and they're like, oh, hold up. What's this talking about me? You know? So it says, verse 21. Hang on, did I skip something? Verse 19, I think I might have skipped this. Say unto them, thus saith Yahawah power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and all the tribes of Israel, and his fellows, and will put them even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. All right, so going back to that beauty and the bands that was broken in half, beauty and bands are getting put back together. All right, and the sticks whereas thou writest shall be in thy hand before their eyes, like I was saying, going back before, you know, on the highways and the byways. And say unto them, thus saith Yahawah power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. All right. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. So, and right now we really don't have no established kingdom now to where we have a king reigning over, like, you know, the kingdom of Judah. There's no king really reigning over the kingdom of Judah at this point in time. You know, we're not even, you know, the kingdom of Judah is not even together. Like I said, there's the hatred between the brothers. So you got like Judah and Levi that was hating on each other. You know what I'm saying? And then the same with the kingdom of Israel. You know, you got Issachar and Ephraim gang banging on each other, so-called Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. So, you know, we don't have a so-called kingdom that's established right now, you know, let alone two different kingdoms where we have two different kings and things like that. We don't have that established at this point in time. All right. But the Most High saying he's going to put these sticks back together. They're going to no longer be two kingdoms no more. They're not going to have two different kings for both kingdoms. They're going to have one king. All right. And they're not going to be, and it says, let me read verse 22 again. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountain of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more divided. They shall be and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. All right. And it goes further on into, you know, more into the future of that. But nevertheless, the point I wanted to get into was going back to that beauty and the bands, those sticks that was separated. All right. Which, going back to the curses, there was going to be hatred between the brethren, which we know about that. All right. We still under these curses, you know, but we slowly but surely coming up out of these curses. All right. And this is the time now where the Most High is saying, look, I'm about to put these sticks back together. That's why you see us on the highways and the byways. We don't have a sign. We don't have camps where it's like, where, all right, so like the camp that I'm in now, basically, I believe it's all Southern Kingdom. But beforehand, you know, and there's other camps where there's Northern and Southern Kingdom tribes inside the camps. You see what I'm saying? Where it's, you know, there's a mix. You know, go look at the GMS Tampa Bay camp. All right, you have I believe the head of the camp still over there is an Ephraimite. All right, and then you still have basically, you know, you have the Northern and the Southern Kingdom in that camp. All right, as long as with the other camps as well too. You know. So we together, you know, as one nation, the nation of Israel, all right, coming back together now, especially when you see us in the highways and the byways, you know, and the men of the Lord, you know, are primarily, you know, first and foremost, they're coming back together with the tribes. But then you also see on a smaller, lower level, some of our people in our tribes are starting to link back together, starting to come back together a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And starting to, how do I say, come into each other's lanes and certain things like that. For example, you have like Cardi B, the singer, right? I believe she's an Ephraimite, right? And with her doing hip hop, not saying that this is the first time that stuff like that has ever happened, but nevertheless, with her doing hip hop and things like that, you know what I'm saying? Nowadays, this is bringing that acceptance into, you know, coming together and befriending one another. You know what I'm saying? And again, we've always been the same. We've always been brethren. So we've always did the same shit like one another. So we could hang out with one another, but you know, this is bridging the gap. You know, she has probably a bunch of Puerto Rican fans that are now coming into the hip hop lane and so on and so forth. You know, you're starting to see the tribes come together. And really, between her and her man, one of those guys from the Migos, hey, you got two of the tribes coming together there. All right. And the mainstream media putting forth this here how do I say this here, spirit out into the open, you know, where not to say, cause the men of the Lord know better, you know, but these other people, you know, they say, okay, it ain't no problem with dealing with them. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make this black and brown, so-called pride come together, so on and so forth. You know, you start to see this on a low level already. All right. So from there, we're going to go to, Zechariah 12:7. It says, Yahweh shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. All right. And so primarily you start to see what? The southern kingdom waking up first and foremost. All right. Like if you go to the camps and stuff like that, you see a majority of the so-called southern kingdom, men from the southern kingdom in a lot of the camps, more or less than the northern kingdom. All right. But hey, they're going to come into the fold regardless. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. But nevertheless, like the scriptures say, let me read it again. Zechariah 12:7. Yahweh shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. All right. And so from there, we're going to go to Jeremiah 50:31. It says, behold, I am against thee, O most proud, saith Yahweh, power of hosts. For thy day is come, and the time that I will visit thee. Talking about these Edomites. All right. And the most proud shall be stubble, and shall fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. All right. Let me go to, well, stopping there. This is the judgment for you Edomites. All right. Now going back to, you know, a lot of our people who want to assimilate and be one and one with these damn Edomites, man, the Most High is against them. All right. Like you're not doing no good, or you're not in the right by clinging to them. No good is going to come from hanging with them except for your death and your destruction. All right. Verse 33. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah, all right, the northern and the southern kingdom, were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast and refused to let them go. All right. So how do I, let me read verse 34. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. So we was oppressed together here in Babylon by these Edomites. All right. So why is it that amongst the tribes, you still have, you know, a lot of our people trying to cleave into the so-called white man when they're our enemy? They're the ones against us. All right. All this, martial law, Rex 84, hell, look at that. King Alfred planted Rex 84. All the tribes, Rex 84, he just added to the northern kingdom. So you might have thought you was going to escape and you was going to assimilate and just fade in with the white man. Nah, you the same as with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in the eyes of the so-called white man. No matter how light your skin is, how proper English you speak, you know, you have a lot of Hispanics like, I don't speak Spanish. I'm not from there. I'm not this, and they try so hard to be like the so-called white man, you know. But nevertheless, you know, having kids naming them Brittany and stuff like that. Like, come on now. You're trying to assimilate your kids into being a so-called white man. But hey, at the end all be all, that's going to be a big target on your back. Because look, in these days, the only thing that's going to be able to save you is the power and the spirit of YAHAWASHI. All right. So everything else is going to be on the losing side. You want to assimilate with that. You ain't got no cloak and no covering. And what's worse for you is you are of the children of Israel. This is where your salvation is supposed to come into play at. This is where you're supposed to be saved and redeemed. But you want to go over there with Stockholm syndrome with your enemy and lie down and die with him. You know, it's like, you know, you a slave in a slave master house, you know what I'm saying? And the master went and got into bed and went to sleep all extra early and told your ass to stay out in the fields and work the field, you know, until the sun come up, till he come back out there and get your ass. And now all of a sudden you notice that the house on fire, but you want to go run up in the damn house. Master, the house on fire, master, I got to get you out. Nah, hell nah. Let that motherfucker burn in his house, because he the one oppressing your ass. You already on the outside. He got you out there oppressing you anyway. He don't care about you. Why would you care about him? All right. But nevertheless, this is, you know what I'm saying? This is some things that our people need to wake up and look to. Like, yo, we not your enemy, man. The so-called white man is your enemy. He the one doing the same thing that he's doing to you. He's doing the same thing to us. All right. Oh, Salakia. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3. It says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. All right. In whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. All right. So basically, if our gospel be hid, if you know, when you're looking at these, you know, the people of our tribes, they will obviously be a 2/3, but nevertheless, the ones that got the blonde hair and want to assimilate with the so-called white man. And like when we're on the highways and the byways preaching, you know, we be talking about Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And you'll have Jake, you know, or so-called Negroes that'll walk up and try. And we actually had somebody pull out a damn knife on us one time trying to defend the so-called white man. This was a so-called black man. You know, we have this happen all the time. This shit is crazy. But nevertheless, you know, you'll have the Southern Kingdom, you know, the so-called black man trying to tell Northern Kingdom, one of the Hispanic tribes or Native American tribes, they Israelites, and they're like, oh, you just bugging the white man, this and that. But like, you don't even remember your history. All of this was yours, unmolested. This was a paradise, unmolested, until the so-called white man came over here and did this number onto you. Like, and they tell you, like, you know, like, I would be really blowed if I was a Hispanic, because they do a big number on them. It's like, yo, you go back to your own country and learn how to speak speak English and speak your own language. Don't be speaking Spanish over here. But like, first of all, where am I going to go back to if I go back to my own country? Y'all stole this shit from me, so I can't go back to nowhere else. Obviously, we came from Israel, but, you know, when you go back into how the Native American, the Northern Kingdom got over here, nobody lived over here before them. So this was their land, all right? But nevertheless, they can't go back to like, this is their land first and foremost. And you talking about, you're always speaking that damn Spanish. Like, you stupid motherfuckers, the reason they speak Spanish is because the Spaniards, which was you Edomites at that point in time, because y'all hadn't hijacked that from basically the Southern Kingdom, all right? But nevertheless, you took that and you gave them that language. You took Hebrew out of as a natural tongue, and you gave them Spanish, and then you just switched up from Spanish to English. So you don't want to keep changing up all the damn languages and mad at everybody else because they ain't up on your new folly, all right? That's some bullshit. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? Hey, let me read this again, 2 Corinthians 2 and 4. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Yo, so you so-called Latinos, Native Americans, and you so-called Negroes from all the tribes, if you can't get this and you want to still assimilate with the so-called white man and be at odds with your brethren and stuff like that, man, we not your enemy. Your brother's not your enemy, man. All right, the so-called white man, when you look at Jacob, his evil brother, all right, yeah, he the enemy. The so-called white man is the enemy, but the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, even especially the men of the Lord that's on the highways and the byways, they not your enemies, man. All right. So all these damn so-called racist jokes that come out, like, it's crazy. It don't hurt my feelings because, oh, you picking on me when I hear like so-called Mexicans make jokes about so-called black people or nothing like that. No, it's just like, man, this is sad as fuck that the so-called white man did such a number on us that this nigga done got us. It's like, yo, it's like me and my brother, right? Somebody came and raped our mama to death. But yet, you know what I'm saying? And I'm mad about this and I want to go kill this nigga. But yet, my the rapist and convinced my brother that I'm the problem and he should love him. Like, yo, why you always hating on homeboy? Like, yo, he raped our mama to death and killed her. You ain't mad about that? I mean, why don't you get over that? Like, you the problem, bro. You always complaining about some shit, bro. You like this and that. Like, I'm the fucking problem. This motherfucker done killed our mama. And who's saying he ain't gonna kill us? You the one thinking the wrong thing. I'm not your enemy. We brothers. We in this together. He got us in captivity. All right. But it says, 2 Corinthians 4 and 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, least the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. Yeah, they lost in the sauce over here in Babylon. All right. They just caught up in all this, you know, how do you say, the distractions here in Babylon. They worried about the wrong things, you know. They don't want to come back to this here truth because finally, you know, a lot of them for the first time in their life, they living a little bit better of a life, you know. And especially like, you know, one of the new things now, you're starting to see a lot of these Mexicans, so-called Mexicans marrying so-called white women and thinking that they goddamn white nowadays. It's like, yo, you don't realize, and then they'll tell you like, yo, yeah, we live in this here new neighborhood, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But I couldn't get the mortgage under my name, so my wife had to put it in her name. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't get the kids in school under my name, so I had to put the kids. Like, yo, you don't really, like, being married to her, you should see how much these motherfuckers hate you. How you can't be the head of the household and go do certain things, but she can. Because she is a so-called white woman, and her name alone on the paperwork, all right? You know what I'm saying? They think this is a so-called white woman, but you know what I'm saying? You got a so-called Hispanic name, Juan Rodriguez. They already know, man. They already know, all right? This is Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahawah, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third part shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, which through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I shall hear them, and they shall say, it is my people, and I will say unto them, Yahweh is my power. All right. So, hey, man, this is a warning to you, of our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. All right. You need to come back to the law, statutes, commandments. Come back to this here truth, man. All right. Your brothers are on your side. They're your allies. The so-called white man is your enemy, man. And you trying to assimilate with these people, man. You're going to wind up getting cut right off with the majority of our people. They're not going to take heed to this. They're going to keep walking down the same path with the so-called white man. All right. And if not that, they're just not going to come down this here path, and they're going to wind up dying anyway. All right. The majority of our people, all right, 66.6% of our people, over half of our people going to get exterminated. All right. And these are the reasons why. All right. I'm going to close out with this precept. It says Romans 11:7. It says, what then? Israel have not obtained that what he seeketh for, but the election have attained it, and the rest was blinded. So what? Our so-called freedom, peace, rest, like the scripture say, this is not your rest. It is polluted. It is wholly polluted to destroy you. All right. Our soul is looking for rest to get up out of this captivity. Just like anybody in jail, they all looking for one thing. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, they all looking for one thing. Some looking for some food right here now. Some looking to go work out here now. Those are all small little things they're looking for right now. But the long run, they all looking to get up out of jail. All right. Same with us. We looking to get up out of this here jail so we can get that there rest. All right. We trying to get into the kingdom of heaven so we no longer being oppressed by these so-called white men, the Edomites, according to the Bible. All right. So Romans 11:7. What then? Israel have not obtained what he seeketh for. All right. That's them 2/3. But the election have obtained it, and the rest was blinded. Because why? They don't want to come back to the law, statutes, commandments. They don't want to come back and be one with their brethren. They don't want to have, that so-called love that y'all always be looking for. You don't want to love your own brother, but you want to, hate your brother and love your damn oppressors. All right. But nevertheless, like, hey, I'm gonna just quote this real quick. Like that scripture say, how can you love the Most High whom you not see, but you see your brother every day and you hate him, on multiple different levels. Like, yo, like for the so-called black man, like you got this so-called black on black hatred against your own kind and color. You hate everything about you. You want to dye your hair, this and that. Like you so-called black women, dye your hair blonde, don't want no black man, especially the ones you women who you don't want to listen to a black man. You can't stand a black man, this and that. Like, yo, how can you say all those things, but you love God and you so-called love Jesus when both of these men are so-called black men? All right. So you be like, oh, I can't date no black man. I can't I can't depend on them. Then when you see YAHAWASHI return, all of a sudden, oh shit, then you gonna get in line? Nah, they know. All right. This is why 2/3 of our people gonna be cut off. All right. This is why they just blinded. All right. I'm gonna read this one more time. Romans 11:7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest was blinded. All right. So verse 8. According as it is written, the Most High gave them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear unto this day. So, hey, same thing, just like in these days now, they can't, they can't see what we got going on. They can't, how do I say, they can't see what's going on. They can't see what's right there in front of them. They can't see the Esau Edom is the cause of all their damn problems, that we not their problem. We never been your problem. All right. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Lord willing, was edifying into the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can push in this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.